Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to the videos of the paid requests. It's time for Steven. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for City of Industry, a 1997 film that I had heard about. I remember seeing the poster for it and stuff, but didn't watch. And at the end of the day, I thought it was there. I thought it was just okay. I thought it was there. It's not that I would ever watch again, but I don't think it's bad either. You tell that the guy who made it definitely wanted a Tarantino type of movie. Granted, not in terms of dialogue, which, I mean, some would say if it did have that, it'd be more of a Tarantino ripoff, but at least that'd be something much more interesting to listen to and to take note of. And I say it because it feels as if the director said, hey, you know what, Harvey Keitel, he was in Reservoir Dogs, and that dealt with a heist. And then he was also in films like Pulp Fiction, among other stuff. So let's go and make him more of the star here. Only he doesn't have nearly as much of the ensemble cast that he had or was a part of in those movies. Now, it's directed by John Irvin, which I've liked a couple of the films he's done. Hamburger Hill is one of my favorite Vietnam movies. Next of Kin is a pretty decent Patrick Swayze film. And the cast, I mean, you do have Harvey Keitel, who has come into town to help his brother, played by Timothy Hutton, who was in The Dark Half, among other movies. And Timothy Hutton has this guy named Jorge, and also this wheelman, played by Stephen Dorff, who, after this, would be in the first Blade movie. And the four of them are going to have this heist. So they get together, they pull it off. Things seem to be going okay. But then Stephen Dorff, he's trying to talk to by his girlfriend, which is actually Dana Barron, who played the daughter Audrey in the first National Lampoon's Vacation. So I'm like, whoa. It was so weird to see her in there with just a bra on. Just haven't seen him forever. And there's other recognizable people in it too. Michael Jai White is in the film for a little bit because earlier in the movie, Stephen Dorff goes to get guns and he got to meet with Michael Jai White's crew. And Jai White comes in to talk a bit to him about it. Also, hey, if you need anything, you need a new car, here's my number. And then you only see Michael Jai White like one or two more times. I thought he was going to be much more incorporated in the third act, but he wasn't. And I'd rather this is around the same time he was doing films like Spawn. Like Spawn came out, I think, the same year. So maybe he's only in this for a little bit because he was the star of that film. Lucy Liu's in the film as a stripper. And you see a little bit of her titties. So if you want to see a little bit of Lucy Liu's titties, this is the movie to do it. But she doesn't have a whole lot to do in the film. Elliot Gould, good actor from back in the day. He's in this little bit as a loan shark. So you definitely have some recognizable people. Famke Johnson, who's in the... After this would be in Deep Rising, which is an underrated creature feature film with Treat Williams. Rest in peace to him. She was in X-Men, and X-Men 2 is Jean Grey. She's in this as one of the crew's wife, Jorge's wife. So again, the heist goes fine. Not really much problems or issues. Dana Barron's kind of talked with Stephen Dorff going, hey, you know, how much money you don't get? How much money are you getting out of this? So they're counting the money. Stephen Dorff kills two of them. Harvey Keitel hits him, runs away. I guess gets away with some of the money, but not all of it. And well, I mean, to be fair, he does get away with the money. To be fair, he does. Because that's when he... Because there's a bit when he's counting the money. And I know I'm floundering through the review, but I will say this. Harvey Keitel is a great actor. It's always nice to see him as the lead in these type of movies. Because Harvey Keitel brings that dangerous presence, whether he's a good guy or a bad guy. Although he's usually playing a bad guy. And is that guy you don't quite know what's going to happen next. Although he was a good in From Dusk Till Dawn as the good guy. He definitely brings that aura of don't fuck with this guy, don't mess with him, because he's dangerous and he's gonna punch you back. His cadence, his mannerisms, his voice just works very well. Whether it be in Copland, whether it be in Pulp Fiction, the small part he was in, Reservoir Dogs, like I said, From Dusk Till Dawn, even when he's playing a religious guy, but when he needs to stand firm, you could very much believe it. So Keitel does what he can with the part. I do enjoy the bit, for example, when he's escaped, he's counting the money, but he keeps just punching the table because his brother has died, and he's just pissed off about it. And pretty much he goes searching from place to place to find where Stephen Dorff is at. So he'll go talk to his bartender. The bartender gives him grief, so he beats out the bartender. This lawyer gives him grief, so he threatens the lawyer. He goes see Lucy Lou's a stripper. And like I said, pretty much she doesn't know anything. She does ask a question while you're going to the cops, and you have probably the best line in the movie. I'm my own police. And the way Harvey Keitel says it, you buy it. I'm my own police. Getting more into spoilers, what happens is Stephen Dorff wants to find where Keitel is at, so he contacts Elliot Gould. Says, listen, I know you know some people. When he goes to the club, he calls Michael Jai White. I need some backup, I'll give you some money. So remember, they go in. Michael Jai White's kind of sitting in the back, wondering what's going on. While Stephen Dorff goes, listen, I know you know the Chinese mob. You have some connections. Find this guy for me, you'll get a payday. Which some of them do, get the money, but then Keitel fucks up the two. Car crashes. Famke Johnson finds Keitel, cleans him up, tells Famke sorry about your husband. She wants some money. She'll give him the addresses, all the information he needs to get his revenge out there. Now, Michael Jai White, like, you never see him again. It felt like there was going to be something more to it. Michael Jai White realizes, wait, there's something going on here. Let's find out about it. And he gets involved. Not really. So I thought that was kind of... seemed like a plot that was going one way and it was kind of dropped. It's not an action-packed movie. It's labeled as an action film. I mean, there are little moments. And then little moments where Keitel beats a person here or there up. There's a couple little action scenes. Like I mentioned, there's a bit where he stabs the passenger in the neck and chokes out the guy, and the car crashes. There's a bit where he finds out that some people are going after him in this motel room, so he's outside. He has a gun, shoots, kills one, shoots the tank, blows up a piece of the motel. Nice practical effects there. Then Famke Johnson gets kidnapped. And the ending felt... I don't know if I want to say anticlimactic, but it felt kind of like, oh, okay, that was it. Pretty much Keitel goes with a shotgun, kills like 2 or so people. You think he's been shot. It looks like he's been shot. Stephen Dorff is going to get the hell out of there, but then pretty much Keitel hits him and then just beats the hell out of him. I get what they're going for is a bit strange because the camera's like right up on Keitel like this. And like choking him. And like, tuh, tuh. And you know, of course you get the idea that he beats the guy to death. But I don't know, it's one of those films, I'll get to the end in a bit, that It's one of those. It's okay, but it didn't leave me. It just didn't leave me feel. There wasn't much that made this memorable. It felt fairly run of the mill in terms of the story, in terms of the characters, even in terms of the action. It just felt very like I think someone said it best. Imagine like Michael Mann had made a film for like Stars or some kind of like made for HBO movie or made for cable movie. Like someone who wanted to be Michael Mann or Tarantino made a made for cable movie. So it kind of does its bare essentials, and there's a decent enough cast. Keitel does what he can. I think the moments between him and Fountain Johnson are pretty decent. They don't go into the typical, they fell in love, they're going to kiss. And you wonder, wait a minute, she had a husband. No, it's more of a mutual understanding. You want money to move your family out since your husband's dead. I want revenge for what happened to my brother. We have a mutual understanding. So, because those are two of the better actors in the movie, Keitel and Famke, like those moments worked well enough for me. There wasn't a whole lot of them, but when they were there, they made it work. Steendorf is fine, but he's not really intimidating, and I think he would do a better job as a villain in Blade because he has a bit more, not flamboyance, but there's a little bit more oomph to the dialogue and the way he's kind of playing a vampire, being so cocky with his droop and his cadence in the dialogue. Here, it's more I don't mind Steven Dorff, but his character's kind of as antagonist, take it or leave it type of thing. I think maybe that's more of the script. There's just not much on the page for Steven Dorff to work with. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of memorable dialogue or witty, funny dialogue or any of the sort to make it stick out from a lot of other movies of this type. The ending, you're expecting the ending to be much more explosive and much more chaos. There's not. Like I said, Keitel kills like two people. One is a shotgun that seems like a big blood splash. Like you hit the guy in the head. Granted, a lot of it's in shadow, so you don't see any details, but you see like the big blood splash near the head. Guy flies back. There's a nice visceral moment, but you don't see a whole lot in terms of gore. You just see the blood. And also the way it ends was a bit weird. Very much spoilers. Famke takes him to the hospital. When she gets out with doctors wanting to help Keitel, he left the money there, but him and the car are missing, and she's like doesn't know what happened. And then you see that Famke and her kids have the funeral for her husband, and they've moved away. And then she gets in the mail this medallion she had gave him. So it just gives you the idea that he's alive. But you never actually see Harvey Keitel. So for a minute I'm sitting there going, oh, maybe he knew what was going to happen and he somehow mailed it. About the same, how would he mail? I don't even know how the hell he knew where she lived and where she moved to. I don't know if he was watching her the whole time. So what, was she watching her the whole time and be like, I'm going to follow you. Okay, you moved here. Now I'm going to send this in the mail. I would have much preferred him just walking up and giving her the medallion back. And maybe she looks at the medallion and there's a bullet stuck in there. I think that's what it should have been. And like shakes her hand and maybe invites her, she invites him in for coffee or something. No, I gotta go, but just wanted to give you back. You know, that gave me luck. You gave me that to have luck. Go and give this back to you. Just what made the ending a bit more impactful to me, to actually see Keitel. And again, you're in the middle of nowhere, you've moved. Just be like, okay, I'm going to give this back to you one-on-one. And then head off. And maybe she's looking and he drives into the distance. But again, that just would have made the ending much more impactful to me. Much more meaningful to me than her just getting the stain and going, oh, okay. And then it ends. Does the last of his Heat Keitel, he seems very bloodied up and he looks over and because I was assuming he was dead. Oh, he mailed it later. And then I thought, well, wait a minute. No, he couldn't have. Or he mailed it earlier. And it just got there now. I'm like, no, wait a minute. Unless, unless he mailed it and then there was like a change of address and then it immediately went to that. But I'm like, no, I don't think that's how it worked either. They would just send it back and back and forth. So, no, I mean, that wouldn't be it. So it must mean he's alive. Like, I shouldn't have to be probably the only one that took that long. I'm sure everybody's like, yeah, you dumb fuck. Yeah, he's alive. Why did it take you that long to figure out? I'm a dumbass. What can I say? But like I said, I would prefer just a more one-on-one final goodbye meeting. Like I said, it would have been nice if he takes the medallion, the bullet stuck in there. Okay, now we know what happened. He's still alive because of the bullet. But anyway. Also, Keitel, he doesn't have a whole lot of dialogue in the movie, which is a detriment in the fact that he's a guy that can really, you look at Bad Lieutenant and other movies, he can really unleash that dialogue with a fervor and energy. And even the one line, "I'm my own police," he sold that line fairly well. So it would have been nice to hear a lot more of him like yelling, screaming, freaking out. "You motherfucker! I'm gonna get you for you did to my brother," that type of thing. But you say he doesn't have a whole lot of. That's the thing. The script I think is the. I don't know what this director has done. Well, I do. John Irvin. I mentioned that before, but I just want to mean like later in his career. Because what he did earlier was good, but I don't know what he did much later in life. And maybe this was in over his head, and another director that had a bit more vibrant energy maybe could have brought something to the table. Maybe the script. If the script had a little bit more. I mean, if I said that Tarantino flavor would just be a rip off of it. I mean, this is 6.1. So I'm looking for this 10 Solarz. I don't know what else he's done. They don't have anything on there what he's done. Let me check that out real quick. I know I should have looked at this before. I apologize. What else has he done? Listen, I don't think it's a bad film. I think it's okay. It's an alright crime film. Best way to put it. He would go on to write episodes of Hawaii Five-O and CSI. As well as the 2007 TV movie Croc and Supercross. Croc gets a 3.8, Supercross a 4.3. Okay. Well, there you go. Take that for what you will. Like I said, I don't hate the film. That was just okay because of the cat. Really, because of the cast. I wish Jai White was used more. Elliot Gould, he's in pretty much one scene and you never see him again. There's not a ton of action. There's little bits here and there. I wish the finale was a bit more explosive, action-packed finale. I wish like there was a bit more of a fight between Keitel and Dorff, like a fight, a fisticuff. There really isn't, or more of a back and forth shootout between the two. I would like to see a bit more, see that be a thing. The ending, I wish was a bit different, have a bit more impact to it. But I said the cast made it, and it's not too long. It's an hour and 30 some minutes, so it's not too over long of a movie at least. And yeah, I've seen much worse. I've seen much better. It's a time waster. It's a time waster. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye bye.